Saturday. Hi, I'm Joey McWilliams. Glad to be on the campus of Oklahoma City University today. It is a wonderful day outside. It's a little cool. The sun is shining in Oklahoma City. That's a bit of a change of how it's been over the course of the week up here. It's been snow and rain and ice and sleet, but it's a beautiful day, and it's a wonderful day for basketball. Midwest Sports Saturday is presented today by Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn in Oklahoma City, and we appreciate Scott Allen and his whole crew. It is, in fact, by the way, my favorite restaurant in all of Oklahoma City, and that's not an exaggeration, and Scott's a big supporter of Oklahoma City University athletics. He is. I am seated today by the head coach of the women's basketball team here at OCU, Coach Bo Overton. Coach, first off, it's a privilege to have you on the show, and very, very grateful to be seated next to you on game day.
Well, thanks for having us. This is we're glad you're here.
It's another great season for the Stars, and you can say that year after year after year, but the numbers really do speak to that, at least right now. 17-0 on the year, and you know, you're looking for the second time to go 18-0 in a season. How about that? I mean, those are some big numbers to go with some historically great teams.
Well, you know, as you have talked about, there has been a lot of great teams here. And this is a team that you know, last year we had a great year, but as you looked at our roster and our team, you kind of looked forward to this year because of the young players getting a little older, getting a little more experience, and I'm really proud of the way they've executed, and you know, they've just really gone on a game-to-game type situation, a quarter-to-quarter type thing, and trying to win each quarter, trying to win each game, trying to win each week, you know, trying to get better each week. And that's what they've done, you know, and all of a sudden we've looked up and, you know, like you said, we're 17-0 or whatever.
It's a big game today. I think it's a big doubleheader all the way around. The men's game, too, is supposed to be a big one. But you all are the first one, and tip time at 2 o'clock today here from Abe Lemons Arena. What a fantastic and historic name that is, too, with one of the greatest coaches, I believe, in college basketball on any level, and his name adorns the outside of this building. But you all have that tip time at 2 o'clock, taking on Mid-America Christian, and the Evangels are coming in very strong as well, as they're 7-2 in conference play, 14-4 overall.
Well, they are. You know, Hannah does such a great job with her team. They're always a skilled team that can shoot the ball. You know, they can get the ball in the basket. Alexis, you know, Shannon has been one of our best players in the league, you know, during her career every year that she's been here. So, you know, every time we meet them, we know it's you know, we know we have to play extremely hard because that's what they do. And then we have to defend them because they always have, you know, 5 players on the floor that can make shots, and we've got to be ready for each and every one of them.
As she continues to keep her stock rising, not only within the Sooner Athletic Conference, I think throughout the NAI as well, and they bring those quality teams in there. The Sooner Athletic Conference really as a whole, it again, historically great. I keep talking about historically great, but when you start talking about OCU women's basketball, the Sooner Athletic Conference in basketball in general, a few teams in the top 25, but I imagine you're playing teams night in and night out that could make a run.
There's no question. We've got teams, you can say MACU, USAO, you know, our 4th, 5th, 6th, you can go down the line to about 6 or 7 teams in our league. They might just be getting votes right now in the stand, but you know, that stuff is so crazy because, you know, around the country everybody can't see everybody play, so a lot of it is guessing, and a lot of it they go, you know, by what they do in the league. And so what happens with our league is that we kind of beat up on each other. You know, like, you know, let's say, you know, MACU and USAO, they beat up on each other. Then SAGU and Texas Wesleyan, they beat up on well, around the country, a lot of these leagues are just, you know, they're 4 or 5 top teams are just winning every game. So we kind of tough league. We got great coaches, a lot of great talent, you know, not only in our league, but it comes from all the high schools, you know, here in this area, the Oklahoma area, you know, just our bordering states. We have really good players and really good coaches there that prepare them, and it just makes my job easier because I just get these players that are coached well, and we just go play.
Let's talk about that for just a moment as I'm speaking now with Bo Overton, who's the head coach of the women's basketball team at OCU. And you talk about the local players. That is big on your team, I believe, as well, because you have 9 of your 14 players on your roster that are from the state of Oklahoma. You know, just down the road at Southwestern, we saw Kelsey Music take a team to the national championship game last year, and every single one but one of her roster came from Oklahoma. I think it's a hotbed of talent right here.
Well, it all starts with, I think, with the coaches that we have in the state, and that they get these athletes when they're young, and they teach them how to play the right way, and you can see it when you go around the country seeing teams play, and it's just natural to I know that if they can play in this state, they can play in our league and play at this level, and we welcome them.
Speaking of making it to the national championship game, that's where Oklahoma City was last year. And it's interesting that you talk about last year's team and maybe even building toward this year. Well, there's only one more step you can take, Coach, from last year's team as a national runner-up, and that's the position that you took them to 3 years ago, 2017 national champions in the NAI. And this is a program with 9 national championship banners behind me. As a matter of fact, if you look behind me, you can see quite a few of them hanging from the rafters here all around. 68 national championships overall for the Oklahoma City University Athletic Department. Fantastic. But as you build into that, then how do you continue to keep the same intensity night after night? Some of these girls did play on last season's team. There are some younger players coming in and some players that didn't get as much time last year that really have stepped up and made a role for themselves on this year's team. So how do you keep that intensity?
Well, I think the first thing is that if you look back on our team that won it, this team's very similar as far we have size inside, so we can throw the ball inside when we get in trouble. We can shoot the ball from the perimeter. And then we've if you look at both teams, we had a really good point guard that year, and I think this year we have a really good tandem. Erica Ankney's a sophomore here from Hera, who's having a really good year. But Shamika Smith, we can play both of them at the same time. They can give each other rest, and they're 2 different type of point guards. One with a little stronger with a better shot, and then the other one with just breathtaking speed that changes the game, I think, when she comes in the game. So it's a really good weapon for us. I think if you compare both teams, they're very similar in the way, especially in the way we play, because I really haven't changed that much of what we do. We've got length, we've got size, and we can score the ball. So they're very similar teams, and we just got to stay healthy, keep everybody moving forward, and like I said earlier, just we've got a game today that's going to be tough. We got to win quarter by quarter in this one, and keep having that mentality as we go to next week also, because they're as you start winning now, you just look up and every game becomes bigger and bigger and bigger.
Coach, just a couple more questions. And again, thank you for taking time with us today here on Game Day. And a big doubleheader ahead, so be looking forward to that. Mid-America Christian University here, making it from the south part of the Oklahoma City area up to the north part, so a little bit of a crosstown rivalry, and it should be that on the court today. You talked about the guard tandem, but they get the ball inside pretty well, and you have Abby Seltzer, who's doing a pretty good job now as still even a younger player in her own right.
Well, Abby, Abby, it's really unique too, because we have 2 5 players that are excellent players. We've got Taylor Sylvester, who's has more experience. She's a senior, long in our zone down there, and is very comfortable shooting the ball. When she gets separated. And like I just talked about with Sham, changing the game a little bit. Then we come with Abby, who's a different type of player at that spot. Abby's more physical, can get to the rim. Gets fouled a lot, makes free throws. So it's a great tandem with those 2. And then Abby, if you look at her numbers, she literally scores a point a minute. And with a lot of times we can play both of them at the same time. But with the season the way it is, and you play Thursday, Saturdays a lot in our league, it's just great to have both of those at that position. And Abby's She's as good a player as she is. She's a better person, great student, and she's just great to be around. And I'm glad she's only a sophomore because I think she's just going to keep getting better and better and better. And you can see it on the floor in practice because, it's literally every week she adds something to her game. Every week she adds something else. And we're just glad. We're really happy we have her.
Coach, you played a tough game on Thursday night. You're able to pick up the win against USAO and of course, then playing against, at this point, the reigning National Player of the Week in Raina Ammons, who, again, is just another testament to the caliber of play in the Sooner Athletic Conference. Without giving away any state secrets for today's matchup, then we know that Alexis Shannon is going to be a force to be reckoned with as she just crossed her own mark with 30 points on Thursday night. She has now moved into third place on the all-time scoring list there at Mid-America Christian. She's fourth in the country this season. So
she's literally unguardable. Seriously, because now she's when she first came into this league, she was really good around the basket, and, but you could kind of back off of her a little bit and let her shoot the three a little bit. But now she's really she have to work so hard because if you look at her numbers, she's making threes now. And so now you look up and you got to guard her out there. You got to guard her at the high post. You got to guard her at the block. She can drive it. She's great at getting fouled. So she, and she makes free throws. So she's just one of those. She's unguardable, and we just got to make sure, the other four on the floor are not going crazy on us. And
I think that was my question. I think you may have answered the question in that. Then, if you have a player like that's unguardable, do you just chalk it up to say she's going to get hers?
I think there's no doubt.
Do we take care of everybody else?
And remember, 2 years ago, I sat right down there, and we held her to 25 in the first half. So I've got we've got a good taste of her, and we know what she does, and we've got to be ready to go.
All right, the first of two matchups between Oklahoma City and Mid-America Christian here in 2020, and postseason will be right around the corner.
Yep.
Coach Bo Overton, the head coach of the women's basketball team, I really appreciate your time, sir. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks for sitting in with me.
Well, we appreciate all the coverage you do for us and our league and in the state of Oklahoma with the basketball, and we appreciate you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that. You can leave the mic right there. Okay. I know we're going to get to visit with the men's head coach in just a moment as we get to visit with Coach Aldis, but we'll take a time right now and say, hey, listen, we want to say thanks to Raising Cane's 23rd and Penn. Now, I said before it's my favorite restaurant, but it's a game day. So if you're heading home after the game, you need to head on into Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. Cane's fresh, never ever frozen chicken fingers and sauce. It's the perfect way to feed your post-game appetite, and there likely will be a post-game appetite today because these should be two very, very good games. One love, it's Raising Cane's 23rd and Penn right here in Oklahoma City. So appreciate you watching today, Midwest Sports Saturday, and we're going to get to visit again with Coach Aldis here in just a moment and talk about the game ahead of us. It's 14-4, Mid-America Christian University coming in 7-2 in the Sooner Athletic Conference, and Oklahoma City University 17-0, excuse me. Now the Stars, 17-0 start. You would think that there is some history to that, and there is. It's the fourth time in program history that a Stars team has started 7-0, and that's really impressive in and of itself because I just mentioned 9 national championships to the credit of the OCU women's basketball program. Just the fourth time that they've run a season 17-0. Now, a win today, of course, would put it at 18-0 and make it just the second time that a team has started 18-0, and I believe the last time, you have to go back about 20 years, that OCU started 18-0 and went ahead and won the first 34 games at that point in time. So we're looking to get to visit with Coach Aldis in just a moment. Now, sitting across from me right now, come on over here just for a moment, sir. I'm not used to sitting by myself for as long as I do, so I know that we're going to get Coach Aldis in just a moment, but right now, and you're waiting for a couple of players to come up the road from Moore, correct?
That's correct. I'm still waiting for our men's and women's teams to make it up here, but it's good seeing you here, Joey.
This, by the way, is Adam Stanek, who is the Sports Information Director at Mid-America Christian, and you guys have been watching some pretty solid basketball of late as well, haven't you?
Oh, it has been an absolute joy to watch both our men's and women's teams this year. As you heard Coach Overton talk about Alexis Shannon, she's just such a special player to watch. And our men's team, it's just been exciting to watch the next man up with these guys. It seems like the guys coming off the bench are just as good as the starters, so that's been fun to see.
Have you had a chance to watch a game here on campus at OCU yet in your time as SID?
This is actually my second time here. We were here earlier when OCU hosted their women's tournament, when Philander, Smith, and Haskell were both in town. I was here statting a couple games for them as well. So it's a beautiful arena. It's one of the nicest I've actually ever been in, especially the NAIA level.
It really is. It's a nice place to be. It's a fun atmosphere with a daughter that just graduated from Oklahoma City University this past spring. Well, I guess it's now we've already changed the calendar, so it's not 2019 anymore. Still, this past spring, May of 2019, Jenna, who was on the competitive dance team and a two-time NAIA All-American with that team and also a two-time national champion with that program. I've been up here a number of times, but it never gets old.
No. I was going to say I love coming up here. It's a great It's a great arena to play in. I'm looking forward to coming here in the future years to come.
Now, one other thing about Adam, I've known Adam for quite a while now, but it goes back to days in the Great American Conference. So I didn't know if I was going to get a GAC reference in this trip today. Wasn't actually looking to do that, but I will go ahead and say that we met when you were working at Arkansas Tech.
Yeah. I was the assistant SID at Arkansas Tech for a couple of years with Paul Smith, who just accepted a position at Texas Women's University down in Denton. So I've already had the chance to congratulate him, and I'm going to miss him on your guys' broadcast of the GAC championships. But obviously, all the best to him going forward. Great opportunity for him.
One more thing that Adam is, and I appreciate you sitting in with me right now. When you're looking forward to not one but two good games today. We have the number 2 team in the country by a point, mind you, with the OCU Stars women's basketball team. We have the number 2 team in the country with the MACU Evangels men's basketball team. But I don't see a blowout in either game.
No, I think both games are going to be extremely close, and I know OCU, at least especially on the guys' side, they're getting some key players back from injuries. So I expect both games to be very close, going down to the wire. It's going to be exciting basketball to watch all around.
It's fun. Now, have you been? You were talking about limited time with the NAI. This is a Mid-America Christian men's team that has positioned itself already to make a solid postseason run. I mean, I would be surprised if it wasn't a lengthy run. You talk about that and the play. Have you had a chance to think about what some of these things are? I mean, you're talking the NAI National Tournament, and I was visiting with someone about this week on the summit. I mean, it's 5 games in a 6-7 day stretch. I mean, you really have to bring your A game for a solid week to make that run to the national championship.
Right, and that's one of the things I think kind of makes our men's team so special. I mentioned it before, how deep they are coming off the bench. You need that sort of depth to be able to pull off winning a championship in the postseason. Especially during the season where it's a long grind where there's a lot of injuries along the way. You gotta try to have the next man step up, and I think having a deep bench like our men's team has certainly helps in that regard.
Adam Stanek, the Sports Information Director for Mid-America Christian University, and I know your coaches are coming here in just a moment. They'll be right around the corner before they come up here, so look forward to getting to visit with them as well. I appreciate them coming and being a part of this. It's game day all the way around. I mean, it really is, and this is the games in, I would imagine, any conference, but specifically in the Student Athletic Conference this year, just don't get any bigger than these.
It's starting to feel like March already, isn't it?
It is. It really is. I mean, even Coach Overton said, well, the games just keep on getting bigger. And I imagine if you're undefeated, like the men's basketball team is for Mid-America Christian as well, you're undefeated. Well, okay, if you run off 10 consecutive wins, that's great. Once you start getting closer to 20, now you start feeling, wow, we're onto something here, and you don't want to let any of them go. Yeah. So I've actually, I'll ask you this question then. I've heard it before. If you felt like you had to lose a game, obviously you want to lose it before you get into the postseason. You get in the conference tournament and a postseason run. But do you ever really want to lose a game?
No, but at the same time, too, there's a lot to learn from a loss like that. I know from personal experience, just back when I was an undergrad, I was I received my bachelor's degree from Winona State from back in 2009, and at the NCAA D2 level, they had been to 3 straight national championships, and the one they lost was the famous steal at midcourt and the layup at the buzzer by Anthony Atkinson, and it was heartbreaking, but their team learned a lot from that loss, and they came back and just dominated their way to winning a national championship again. So sometimes, it takes that one loss to just sort of wake you up and put you back into focus again.
Focus, all right. Adam, thank you very much for sitting in. We look forward to getting to visit with the 2 coaches from Mid-America Christian here in just a moment. So set that down. And Coach Aldis, I believe, is right around the corner, so we'll wait for him to show up in just a moment. Midwest Sports Saturday is brought to you today by Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn in Oklahoma City. Now, as a team supporter, you know that you leave it all out on the court for every single game. All you fans, all you athletic supporters that are out there, okay, go ahead and fill in the laugh track wherever you need to. There's no better place, by the way, to refuel after the game than Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. You got to be ready for the next game, right? Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. It's located at 23rd and Penn. It is right here in Oklahoma City. As a matter of fact, it is just down the block from the OCU campus. And I wasn't exaggerating when I said that it was my favorite restaurant in Oklahoma City. It really is. I've been coming and taking my family to the Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn specifically from Oklahoma City University. Make the trip over there for about 6 years now, and I have not ever been disappointed. And I say that truthfully. I have never been disappointed. Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn, one love. So thanks again for watching Midwest Sports Saturday. We're here on the campus of OCU, and we're talking about the doubleheader that is coming up between the MACU Evangels and the OCU Stars. And we look really quickly then at the NAIA Division I poll. If I can bring this up here. Division I poll has in the women's poll, actually, we talked about the Masters coming in at number 1 in the country. OCU's women's team, number 2 in the country, but it is by just 1 point. And so think about how closely ranked those 2 teams are. And it's like Coach Overton said, that not everybody gets to see everyone else. And so it's a challenge to watch that, especially from the standpoint of a coach's poll. So let's look at that graphic, or excuse me, not the graphic. We have the Masters coming in 216 points overall. Oklahoma City 17-0, 215 points overall. And the NAIA has changed up their polling structure just a little bit here in 2019-2020, not doing it every week. And so it's going to be a little while till the next poll comes out. By the way, Wesleyan Baptist in at number 6 in the women's poll, coming in just a couple of losses on the season. And almost talked about Lions in the Sooner Athletic Conference in football. But you look a little bit farther down, and that is it for the Sooner Athletic Conference on the women's side. And we can check out the men's side of the national poll there. It's one of the reasons I enjoyed working with the NAI F-ball guys and having that as a poll, an alternate poll for football. I think most of us had a little bit more opportunity to see some of the games, and rightfully so, because if you're a coach, you're going to be paying attention to the game you're actually coaching on that Saturday and not having a lot of opportunity to look at some of the other things that are going on. So the men's poll, we talked about Sooner Athletic Conference teams being in that. Well, right up there at the very top is Georgetown from Kentucky, receiving all 9 first-place votes in the poll, and just 7 points behind Georgetown at 212 points overall, an also undefeated Mid-America Christian University team. Also in the poll coming in at number 10, John Brown from the Sooner Athletic Conference. And we look down a little bit farther, you see Texas Wesleyan in at number 19 in the poll this week. Southwestern Assemblies of God in at number 22 in the poll this week. And just on the outside looking in is Wesleyan Baptist. If you were going to take the poll that much farther, you take it down and say, well, we're going to count number 26, 27, 28, and so on. Number 26 in the country, the Wesleyan Baptist University team there. So men's basketball with 5 of the top 26 teams in the country from the Sooner Athletic Conference. The competition just doesn't get much better than that. Let's take a moment away from the NAIA, and let's talk about Division II women's basketball really quickly. A shout-out going out to the Jennies from Central Missouri. The ladies from Warrensburg on Thursday night pulled off a milestone that has been achieved with only 4 other teams in all of Division II, and that is the program won its 1,000th game. That's right. Congratulations to Central Missouri. The Jennies women's basketball program picked up the 1,000th win in program history, the 11th win of the season, and Megan Skaggs moves into 3rd place all-time on the scoring list there at UCM, but also she does it by putting up, I believe, 26 points on the night, 30 points on the night. Sorry, it's her second 30-point performance on the season. So congratulations to Megan and to all of the Central Missouri Jennies. Milestone wins. And one of those big milestone wins where you talk about the first win in the MIAA, you talk about the first win in the NCAA tournament, talk about different things like that. Is have another guest coming up here. I'm excited to get to see him. But I'll drop this one on you really quickly. There's Rich Tortorelli, the Sports Information Director, the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications here. Is that correct?
Yes, glad to be here, Joey.
All right. How about this? First win, I was just talking about Central Missouri's women's basketball team crossed the 1,000-win plateau on Thursday night. Only the 5th program in Division II to have 1,000 wins. First win goes back to January 15th, 1971. Now, the reason I'm going to say that's important is because I was born on January 11th, 1971. So all you UCM fans out there, your women's basketball team couldn't win it all until I got here. That's all I want to say.
Nice.
Totally irrelevant to everything, but I just thought I'd throw that one out there, those milestone marks. Rich Tortorelli, thank you, by the way, for sitting in with me right now. And, man, it's a big game day.
It's a huge day, and it's a great day to be a star. So our OCU women's basketball team will be in action today against Mid-America Christian. They're undefeated through 17 games. This is the deepest we've been undefeated in about 9 or 10 years. And they're ranked number 2, and they're a hair away from being number 1.
All right. Just talked about that, just 1 point behind the Masters from California.
That's right. And they obviously want to get back to where they were last year, which was in the national championship game, and they want to hang banner number 10.
And that would match the softball program here. Softball, as you drive by Ann Lacey Stadium, you see up there 10 national championships for the softball team as well.
That's right, and our men's golf team also has that many.
That's right. That's amazing to think that 3 programs, 2 of them already in double figures in national championships, and another one just knocking on the door, and it could happen this year.
You know, we have four programs ranked in the top 5 nationally, and right now that are going to be in season very soon. The men's and women's golf teams will be in action this coming week. They're going to be at the OUAZ Invitational in Arizona, and then also they're ranked 5th each of them. The women's team is ranked number 2. The softball team is ranked 3rd, and they were also in the national championship game last year also.
That is incredible. Well, that makes your job either fun or challenging or both. As we're speaking
all
now
the above
with Rich Tortorelli on Midwest Sports Saturday, presented by Raising Cane's on 23rd and Penn here in Oklahoma City. And a big shout-out to the guys and to Scott Allen and his crew. As Rich knows, because of all the times I've been up here at OCU, that, when the game's over, that's where I'm heading.
I love Raising Cane's, and I love Scott Allen and all they do for OCU athletics.
They do. Big OCU athletic supporters, so we appreciate that. Let's talk about that really quickly because it is almost crossover time for you. It's about a week away from crossover time because softball season's right there. All those things you just mentioned. It's fun to be talking basketball, and you have a couple of good basketball programs here. Specifically, we've been talking about the women being so highly ranked nationally and undefeated. But those other programs, it's not just a blip on the radar. They're quality programs too. So
the baseball team will be in action coming up next Saturday. And so they're the winningest college baseball program in the nation since 1991. And Coach Denny Craball will be going for career win number 1,500 when that comes around next week, noon against York.
You know what's funny about that? And now consider this. And we talk about the history on campus here at Oklahoma City University. What is so funny about that, 1,500 wins. You think that's a big number. And he's still behind another coach on campus.
Right. So OCU is also home to the winningest college softball coach ever, Phil McSpadden. He has 1,727 wins.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing to think about that and just what kind of quality product is put out here, and I don't say that lightly. I don't mean that disrespectful to the student athletes. It's a good product.
Well, you're talking about two coaches right there, and there's a third coach who on campus have been here for 30 years each. And Coach Harvey is finally hanging it up.
I was going to say, we're talking soccer.
Yep, the soccer coach. This was his last year on the pitch for OCU, so he'll be handing off the reins before long.
All right. Well, Coach, we're talking to a lot of coaches today. You can be coach today, too, at least on the program. I know you coach a lot of people around here to get things done. We're about to get to visit with Coach Hank Aldis, so I want to say thank you so much, by the way, for sitting in. And a shout-out to Rich, because since I have started OklahomaSports.net, back in 2011, one of the first people that I had a chance to talk to and try to work my way into this business a little bit more was you. I appreciate your help and always being available and to help out with the things we do, not only on OklahomaSports.net but on the MidwestSports.net channel.
Joey, I did want to hand this off to you.
Oh my goodness!
I know this is the real reason why you came here, was to get some OU gear.
I gotta get some swag.
But also, I'm sure number 2 will be going to Raising Cane's.
Okay, that back and forth. They could flip. The hungrier I get, Raising Cane's may raise up there a little bit high. Man, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Joey. Thanks for all that you do for small colleges around here.
Thank you, Rich. God bless you, sir. Rich Tortorelli, the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications right here. And I'm going to have Coach Aldis come on in here and sit down. I appreciate you stepping in with me today. And welcome to the program.
Hi. It's good to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The interim head coach now here for the Oklahoma City University Stars. And, you come in. I actually have done that before. I've stepped in a coaching situation midway through a season, and so what's your take on that? How do you feel? You're 8 games in, so it's not like it happened yesterday. So you're 8 games in now to the process, and how do you feel about the program right now?
I feel great. We've been moving in the right direction. It was a busy over the winter break, and our guys were able to lock in and be able to pick up all the things that we were changing and, really just stay focused on the goal at hand, which is just win basketball games. And, we've come up short in the past couple games. We've had some tough games, and I've been proud of our guys of battling throughout those games. We're just right there. We just got to take the next step forward and be able to close out in the fourth quarter or in the second half.
Well, you say come up short, but through 40 minutes you didn't.
Yes, yeah.
This is a team that's gone to overtime twice in the last 2 games. Matter of fact, 3 times in your 8 games as the head coach, you've taken it to extra minutes on the clock. So was 40 minutes just not good? You feel like you want to make sure that everyone gets their money's worth when they come to a game?
Yeah, I keep telling our guys, stop making it so interesting, and That's the thing. We play really well. Our urgency our effort drops a little bit, a little low at times, which, I'm not too happy about as a coach. But throughout the games, I've been proud of our guys. We just got to get to the finish line and be able to close out games a little bit stronger. And we're right there. We're right there. We just got to be able to finish the games. And I think we've been competing really well, though. I think we're just right there.
Stars are 10-8 overall, and again a tall order today. We'll talk about MACU in just a moment, but 10-8 overall, 3-6 in Sooner Athletic Conference play, and in your tenure right now, 3-5 in that amount of time. And you mentioned something in there, and I want to ask about that too, because that's one of those things you have to look at really closely and say, what kind of changes can you make? Because you talked about the changes there, and obviously it's your team now, your philosophy, the way that you guide it. But, at a mid-season point, how many changes can you make?
The changes are – and it is tough, after being so far and guys are already have their roles established and, they know who they are on the court. I think is just collectively as a unit being able to limit our turnovers and rebound the ball. We've gotten beat up on the boards pretty good over the games, and just small. Since games are so close, we're right there. It's just cleaning up the small things. Turnovers, rebounding. Valuing the possession more down the stretch. I think, and that just comes. We're playing faster than we were previously earlier in the season, so it's just becoming acclimated to it and cleaning up the small mistakes and. Cleaning up the small mistakes down the stretch and valuing the ball. And, you know, we've battled some injuries, especially with Trey Bryant. You know, he's been a trooper through this whole process, and getting him back has helped us. But it's been a process of injuries and then just the small things down the stretch.
You talk about Trey Bryant, so let's go ahead and segue into that. See, just a fantastic communicator right there, able to make that segue so easy for me.
The chemistry.
That's right.
Yes,
Trey
sir.
Bryant, who has now come in, and he's been a part of 8 games, and the 8 games coincide with the change and basically the change in the calendar. I mean, you get into the second semester here, and through those 8 games, he's leading your team in scoring.
Yes, sir.
And you have 4 players now averaging double figures, one just with 9. But, you know, it seems like you're able to get the production all the way around. But Trey Bryant has really had an impact on this team.
Yeah, Trey's a talented young man. You know, he can do it all. He sees the floor really well. He shoots the ball at an elite level. So he brings a lot to our team. Part of the aspect I love about Trey is just his demeanor in which he goes about his daily business, in terms of he's always getting shots up. He's always with the trainers. He's always doing the right things that he needs to do to stay on the floor. And, you know, he's had a lot of injuries with his back and his ankle. So I've been really proud of him, of taking advantage of all the resources he has at his disposal, and also being honest with us as a coach, being honest with me as a coach. You know, he always tells me when he's hurting, and, you know, I try and watch his minutes and make sure that he's not overdoing it, because I know he wants to be on the floor. And so it's just being honest with ourselves with that regard. But, you know, it's pretty obvious when he is healthy, he is something special to watch.
Well, as an upperclassman too,
yes.
You know, he is valuing every minute now.
Yeah, absolutely.
As the time is ticking away, and
Yeah.
so I would imagine he would want to be out there as much as he can. But you do have to watch that, and you know, even at this point of the year, still 2 games above 500. Of course, anything can happen in the conference tournament as well, and that's one of the great things about college basketball on any level is the conference tournament time of year. Not that far away, but you can make a run. And you do want to monitor,
Yes.
you know, how healthy now can we be going into the month of March?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing, is staying healthy. You know, I'm lucky enough to have a ton of talented guys on our bench, so we're able to play multiple guys if guys are injured. It's next man up mentality, which I've been really proud of our guys. Everybody comes into practice locked in, not knowing who's going to play or where or when, and so that's something that we've been really emphasizing, is rest over preparation. As we get last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 games in 6 days, I believe. I can't really remember at the top of my head. It seemed I didn't even know the day of the week, but you know, it's been nice to have those 3 days early in the week to be able to rest and get with the trainers and be able to let our guys get the help that they need, because it is a long season. And I think our guys just need to just keep taking care of their bodies and being able to stay on the floor.
Speaking now with Coach Hank Aldis. And, Coach, for folks that may be new to you really quickly, and I know it's game day for you too, so I want to make good use of your time.
Oh, no, it's quite
But,
all right.
but you're within the MidwestSports.net footprint, at least your collegiate career, as you come across to Oklahoma. And I know you've had a couple of stops along the way, but
Yes, sir.
you get here at least through your playing career through Hendrix University.
Yes, sir.
In Arkansas. And so a Division III school. I mean, a very decorated career. Congratulations
I
for
appreciate
your
that.
time there, leading to, you know, some first conference tournament championship
Yes,
and things like that for the Warriors. But playing Division III basketball, I want to ask you really quickly, because within the state of Oklahoma, there aren't any Division III teams. So folks watching us in Oklahoma, and I realize our footprint goes into Arkansas and Kansas and Missouri and Nebraska and Iowa as well. And,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
Iowa, you get some D3 schools. Missouri,
Yeah.
you get some D3 schools.
Absolutely.
Nebraska Wesleyan, fantastic men's basketball program there
Yes, sir.
in Lincoln with the Prairie Wolves there. But it's a little bit of a different animal.
Yeah,
And talk
it
about
is.
the difference between that and what we will see here today.
You know, it is. It's the whole dynamic of D3 and NAIA has just been completely different. You know, I worked in Division I last year, and it's just seeing all the different aspects of it. You know, I was fortunate enough to have a great playing career at Hendrix, and you know, I had a great coach there who was able to teach me a lot about the game, which I still use some of the plays we used in college here. So it's more just understanding the conference, the way the conference is set and the style of play is a little bit different. There's a little more we have better athletes here than we did at Hendricks. I was considered our best athlete, and I'm not anywhere close to any of our players. Our players are much more athletic than me. I try not to step on the floor with them too much.
That's good.
But yeah, so it is different. It's a whole different dynamic than NAIA, but it's something I've learned a lot since I've been here, and I'm just going to continue to keep learning all the different divisions that there are in college basketball. But at the end of the day, the nice part is it's all still basketball.
It is. Still gonna we can have Hoosiers coach come out and measure the rim and the free throw line and all that. It's
all still the same, and that's basketball doesn't change anywhere you go. It's just the speed.
All right. Well, last question then, and
absolutely.
You're going to be facing a little bit of that speed today.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a tall order as Mid-America Christian comes to town. The Evangels, number 2 in the country. We've talked about that. Ashford Golden and the entire crew. I would just ask you then, how do you handle them today? What does it look like, at least part of the game plan coming in?
Yeah, so they're a tough team. They've had a great year so far. They're well coached. They just know how to win, and it's evident when you watch them play that they know their system. They know everyone knows what they're supposed to do. So it's a tough test for us. But as far as the game plan, we've been really working hard this week and preparing. We prepared for USAO, and we were really working hard yesterday and prepping for MACU today. And I think it's more about us and how we play and the way we prepare. We try and focus more on us than them. They're going to hit tough shots, especially Ashford Golden. He's a really talented young man, and he's been great for them all year. We're going to slow him down to the best of our ability. I've told our guys it's about us, and if we do the little things that we haven't done in the past, rebound and limit our turnovers, valuing possession down the stretch, taking good shots, playing unselfish basketball, I think the rest will put ourselves in a really good position to win. It's going to be a close one. MACU, they won a tough one on Thursday night, and so we're going to do our best to do the same thing, except hopefully we come out on the other end. I'm hoping. So, I just always emphasize to our guys, do everything that you're supposed to do your job, I'll do my job, and then we'll just all be on the same page. And if you guys follow the game plan, then we'll have put ourselves in a really good position to potentially come out here with a win.
All right. And really quickly then, should we think about this? If I'm going to watch this game this afternoon, we're going to stick around, watch some basketball here.
Yes, sir.
I'm planning on going to Raising Cane's after the ball game is over with. Should I plan on going after 40 minutes, 45 minutes? How long is it going to take?
Oh, you might be there for an hour.
Okay.
That's why we always call ahead, or else you're going to be sitting there for quite a while, because that's the spot to be at right after the game.
Okay, so it's likely we could see another overtime. You just never know.
There's
4 overtime games this season, Coach,
it's
out of 18 games.
And so. I tell you what, I tell our guys, what are you trying to do to me? I'm only 26, but I feel 40 after these games.
You have a great hairdo going on up there. You don't want to lose it because of coaching. Coach Hank Aldis, thank you so much for taking time with us today. Success to you this season.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And we just continue on here on Midwest Sports Saturday. I did mention Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn. Listen, basketball fans, just because you're away from home to watch a game doesn't mean you have to go back home immediately. You can stop by Raising Cane's. They're open after the game to feed your victory celebration hunger. Okay, so stop by Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn in Oklahoma City. One love. Midwest Sports Saturday continuing here from the campus of Oklahoma City University, and we have a couple more guests that are on the way here, and I hope to make way for one or two of those here in just a moment. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see him, but we are ready if he's available. I'll let him step in here right now. Yes, sir. Please come in. I'm doing well. We are incredibly privileged now to get to visit with Jim Abbott, who is the Assistant Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics. That's a long title, but I've also seen athletic director. I think that's a little bit more like what we're used to, right?
I think that's more appropriate. Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I am.
Well, listen, I've had an opportunity to watch you work over the years. Of course, having a daughter that was a part of the athletic department for 4 years here at Oklahoma City University from 2015 to 2019. You look from afar and you go, wow, there's a lot going on there. But then when you get to see it up close and personally a little bit more, you go, my goodness, this guy's doing a lot.
Well, not just me. We have a staff full of people that are very busy and who spend a lot of Saturdays and weekends and those kinds of things out here working. I've been here 17 years. When I started, we had 12 sports, and we still worked hard, but it wasn't quite as hectic. And now we have 22 sports. And you mentioned your daughter, who was involved with our POM team.
Yes.
It's really one of the, as I reflect on my career, it's a great memory for me I was an athletic administrator who, for most of my career, would have told you that cheer and pom were difficult things for me to deal with. I probably stated it a little differently, but as soon as we started treating them just like we did everybody else, it's really one of the best things we've ever done. And so we are busy, but we're only busy because we're here to serve students, and we have a lot more students participating in sports than we ever have.
Well, and I do appreciate you recognizing the staff and honoring them, because that's important and very much valid. But I can also say that, having walked around the campus and the gym, I see you personally on site in so many different places. So it's not something you've just farmed out, that you're intimately involved with these athletics as well.
I'm very involved. I tell when recruits come to visit campus, I look at them and I look at their parents, really, and I say that I have 2 children of my own, and I have 400 stepchildren. And those stepkids play on all of our teams, and really the payoff for me, there are a couple. One, getting to see these kids do what they love to do, it's very gratifying, and I think it's important that they know that I and our staff are here to support them. But, more than that, getting to watch a 17 or 18-year-old kid enter our school and grow and mature and do what they love, but then to move on and make their impact, that's really the payoff for me.
I understand. Speaking now with Jim Abbott, who is the athletic director here at Oklahoma City University and OCU Historic Program. I've talked about it with a couple of other folks that have come in. 68 national championships. You can see the banners behind us right now, so many of those banners. This is a historic facility. But when you think about all of that, I mean, and to go with 22 sports along the way, continuing at that kind of pace, that in and of itself is something that's amazing, because it's not just the 22 sports. The Oklahoma City Stars they're good in pretty much everything they set their hand to.
Well, I'm going to correct you. We have 69 national
Okay.
championships. We won
I
we
was
won
69.
the men's cross country championship in the fall.
Okay.
So we've only had 69 for 6 or 8 weeks. So I'll allow you that.
I want to go on record then as saying I thought it was 69 because that number stuck out to me because it was so close to 70. But the last time I looked online one time before I came on here in my prep work, so we need to change the website.
It's likely that our website doesn't. We have a display in the lobby. It still says 68.
Okay.
What we've learned to do is to wait until the year's over, and then we go back and change the numbers. You hear a lot about tradition in athletics, and tradition is very important, but tradition will only take you so far. And so part of what we tell our students every year and tell our staff is that it doesn't really matter what you did last year, or it doesn't really matter what you did in your last game. You have to show up every day and earn it. And so we have been fortunate to be successful. I think that we would point to those that came before us who sort of set the table for us. Part of what I'm very proud of has been our ability to sustain success. So this championship that we just won in the fall in cross country, that marks the 27th consecutive year that we've won at least one team national championship. So how you build to 69 is one at a time. And naturally, as soon as you get to 69, you're thinking, where's 70 going to come from, or is it going to come? But
well, you already have this year taken care of. Then,
we have
so
this year
that's
taken
good.
care of. So baseball and softball and golf and some of these other sports, they can kind of breathe a sigh of relief. There's been a time or two in my career here that it really came down to the very end. I remember golf winning a championship early in my tenure here that would have been the only championship we won that year, and that happened right at the end.
Right. So, well, it's the consistency then. That's the year in, year out.
It's very important. Building from day to day and year to year, and setting the bar as high as you can. That's very important for us.
One other thing about the changing those numbers, I do recall a few years back when the softball team won the national championship. Of course, they play right across the street at Ann Lacey, and it says up there now 10 softball championships, but they had 8 at the time, and then they won the softball championship, and I was driving by Ann Lacey, and I saw that someone had come out with athletic tape and put a line over the 8 and then taped up a number 9.
Yeah.
I guess that hadn't been put up fast enough.
That was a couple of our softball alums wanted to make sure that got paid attention to very quickly. So it was, I think, an impetuous thought that they had that was really pretty cool. It actually stayed up for quite a while before we finally permanently replaced it.
And now it's been changed even since then, so it's a 2-digit number there.
Yeah.
One of 2 programs, by the way, that have double digits in national championships.
That's right.
And women's basketball behind me at 9 right now, and could be on their way to a 10th one. You know, you just it all depends on the season and the postseason run. Really quickly then, as we're speaking now with Jim Abbott, the athletic director here on Midwest Sports Saturday, presented today by Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn in Oklahoma City, a big supporter of Oklahoma City University athletics.
We love Raising Cane's. They've been a big supporter. A lot of the sports that we have a challenge that if we achieve a milestone, people get chicken. And I have to tell you, I'm not sure what's more important to our fans, whether it's winning the game or achieving the milestone that includes chicken from Raising Cane's. So they do a great job.
Well, I saw, and we'll keep, if you're watching this live right now, I saw that if the women's basketball team scores 70 points, then you get 2-for-1 combo.
That's right. Yeah.
And I looked, out of 17 games, they've scored 70 14 times. So, you know, Scott and the guys down there are definitely, they're busy after a game day.
That's right. Well, you had Hank Aldis on here before me, and Hank is fortunate that the women generally take care of meeting the goal to get the chicken.
That's good. Well, there's always somebody, just like we said, always somebody there to get that
That's
one
right.
in.
We're all in it together.
Again, and Mr. Abbott, then as we wrap this up, and again, thank you so much for taking time with us today here on Midwest Sports Saturday. But, you know, I talked about you're involved intimately on an individual level, and that you show up at all the athletic events, and that your presence is there. But, you know, you reach out nationally too, and not just through the NAI, but with a lot of small college athletics. I mean, I watch online and social media, there are lots of discussions as to how to make the athletic departments better and just continue to grow. Small college athletics has been the heart of OklahomaSports.net and MidwestSports.net and this channel, and so I appreciate that. How do you see small college athletics growing, just even as an overview?
Well, you know, my whole career, I played college athletics at a small college. I've worked, I spent a couple of years in Division I, but I think what we do is pretty unique. We have the advantage that we just play sports because we love it. There aren't millions of dollars on the line. We don't have huge crowds. So we can pursue our passion while getting a great education, and that's what it's all about. A challenge for small colleges, and really colleges in general, is we're really entering a time when there are less numbers of high school graduates that are going on to college. And so while you don't think of a university as a business, there is a business side of it. We have to have the financial means to pay the bills and to grow and to do these things. In our case, and for many private universities, that means we rely pretty significantly on our ability to raise money. We don't get a subsidy from the state. But even the state schools that get subsidies have seen those numbers really decreased.
Right.
So I think a big challenge in general, which does affect athletics, but affects small colleges across the board, is maintaining enrollments and being able to run the business of the university. Athletically, I think we're as strong as we've ever been. You see a lot of smaller schools that have done what we've done. They're adding sports. They're doing different things. For us, that really started with women's wrestling. We started women's wrestling 11 years ago. I had never even heard of it. I didn't know it was a thing. But as my coach came and talked to me and said it's an Olympic sport and there are 5,000 girls that wrestle. And so we were about the 7th or 8th school to add women's wrestling, and now there will be 15 new schools this year, so there's 60 or 70.
Right.
So I think one way that we're working to help our university with enrollment is we are looking at adding new sports.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a number of challenges that we face, and I would say just the financial side of it is always going to be the front and center.
Wow, I was trying to think of numbers bigger than 22. Wow, 22 sports and then adding some more, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I should clarify. I'm not sure at OCU that we're really looking to add 3 or 4 or 5 more sports.
In
general, you see smaller universities in particular adding sports. Okay. There are certainly schools that I can think of that have more than 22.
Not far down the road here.
I think of my peers, the really smart athletic directors are the guys that are at a school that has 3 or 4 sports. I can think of a couple of them, and I think, you mentioned seeing me often at ball games. Well, less sports would be less ball games.
That's true. That's true. Less times with 400 step kids, though. So
that's right.
Well, Mr. Abbott, thank you so much for taking time with us today here on Midwest Sports Saturday. Success to you, continued success to Oklahoma City University, to the athletic department, and many more championships to come.
Well, thanks very much, and thanks for what you do to shine a light on schools like ours.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
God bless you.
Have a great day.
And we're going to get to, as Jim Abbott's stepping out, we're going to get to visit with a couple of more coaches here in just a moment then. An extended version of Midwest Sports Saturday here from Oklahoma City University on the campus of OCU. It is presented today by Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn in OKC. If you're heading home after the game, you need to stop by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers because it is always fresh, never ever frozen chicken. The sauce is the perfect way to go and to feed your post-game appetite. It is Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, 23rd and Penn at Oklahoma City. One love. So I don't know if we're going to get to visit here in just a moment with the women's coach of the Mid-America Christian University Evangels, whose team comes in today with we've talked about teams with a tall order, facing off against the number 2 team in the country. We definitely have that. We also wanted to say thanks again for watching. We will be next Saturday. It's an interesting show next Saturday. I believe it's going to be a little bit of an abbreviated edition, and we will be coming to you from Norman, and also not very far away from a trip to Conway, Arkansas in February. Coach, please come on in here. Thank you very much. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
And getting some exercise in, waiting for me to stop talking, I think.
Sometimes it's a game thing. We do it almost every day. So.
Okay. Well, she was walking around the concourse here on campus here, and I got to looking because I wasn't paying attention who was walking. It's just on my peripheral. And I looked up and went, oh, there's Coach. All right. Well, come on in here. Anyway, live television. That's where we are right now. Live streaming here on the MidwestSports.net channel. First off, thank you so much for being here today. I got some swag given to me here from Rich, and that's all right. That's all right.
I'll bring something next time.
That's okay. That you're here means a lot on game day. Now we're right around the corner, so it won't take too much of your time. So let's talk really quickly. Man, this first game on the doubleheader. This is a big one. It really is. You all come in 7-2 in SAC play. OCU is 9-0, so pretty much at the midpoint in the conference race. And I know the first time you've seen them this year.
Yeah.
This is a big matchup.
Yeah, they're a great team. We have had a lot of success up to this point, and so we'll see.
Okay, now Coach Overton was singing the Alexis Shannon praises. And probably a second verse and maybe a third. So
sure.
Obviously she brings a lot to the table. It's just raised another mark then on the all-time scoring list. Talk about her play.
Lex is just special. I'm sad she's a senior, and she has kind of hit her stride. I thought this year of all years she got started a little slow just because for her the ceiling is so high. But the last 4 and 5 games, I mean, she's essentially averaged a double-double.
Right.
Most of those are plus 20 games, and so she has been playing great basketball. And she's just a tough kid. She plays so hard. She does everything we ask. So it's been fun to just kind of watch her find her stride for the year.
She's not alone out there by any stretch of the imagination, but she does get a lot of the attention. Talk about how some of your other players not only exceed and shine, but also compliment her.
No, one of the biggest difference I think is Lorelei Salinia for this year. She's a senior as well, has just really stepped up. Like, we knew in the recruiting process that she was a really skilled player, and the nights where she has been really good along with Lex, it's just made us really tough, and so that's been a huge plus for us. I think Lexi Hernandez, who's new for us this year, and Rachel Taps as well, they both have just made us better in different ways. Lexi's really added to who we are offensively, and Rachel is probably one of the best defenders we've ever had, and so that Lex is not alone. We do get a lot, like, if we could stop Lex, and I think in my pride I'm like, you have to stop them all.
That's right.
So
well, no, but there's a lot of truth to that. And
yeah.
But going in, do you ever, and I asked this, do you ever see a box and one?
It has been, in 3 years, we've seen it 3 times.
Okay, I know. It's college level. You just don't see it that often. But there are times, I mean, I would imagine an opposing coach at some point would just go, we've got to do something.
No, for sure. Early in the year, we beat Oklahoma Christian at home, and they did it a little bit, but Lex is a kid that once she kind of gets rolling and going downhill, she's hard to stop even if you are in that. And I think her strength makes her such a hard matchup for even if she catches in a box and one, you kind of risk the what happens if you get too deep on her. And so she's a tough kid. She's a tough kid.
Speaking now, by the way, I didn't introduce you. I am so sorry. Speaking now with Coach Hannah Moeller of Mid-America Christian University here on Midwest Sports Saturday. I'm so happy you get to sit down with me. I really do. It is an honor. It's a privilege to have you all and to get to visit with all the coaches today on the broadcast, who, by the way, is a 2-time NCCAA Coach of the Year and has taken the Evangels to the national championship in the National Christian College Athletic Association National Tournament for back-to-back years, too. So, I mean, this is star power up here on the set
They've
with me right
taken me.
now.
I don't take much credit for it. They've taken me.
Well, we know, and I've watched you coach over the years, and you spent a number of time at Randall Hillsdale University, I think, during your time there. Randall University right now, great program, too. Fantastic basketball program, but you helped elevate that. And then working with the team there at Mid-America Christian, you do have a lot of accolades there, but it's just like what you said, and I've seen that from you. You're always willing to defer and give the credit to the kids.
They earn it. I mean, I may tell them where to go, but they earn it. They do the work. There's a couple nights here and there where if I can do it, you can do it. But they earn it. It's them. And the truth is we're just really fortunate. We have great kids. Like, we have great basketball players, but we also have really great young women that make it enjoyable. And they have worked so hard. We lost our second leading scorer from last year at the beginning of the year this year, Nevada Denton, that was going to be a senior for us. And it was just I think my heart broke for her. It was one of the first times I've seen a kid get hurt, and I instantly got really nauseous. And there was about a week stretch where I was like, who are we? Because we've had her for 3 years up to that point. And so it was just, there was a little bit of an identity like, okay, what does it look like without her on the floor? And so we just have had kid after kid step up. And I think it's one. Somebody asked me, we were at Wayland Baptist 2 weeks ago, and she said, their head coach said, is this the best team you've ever had? And I was honest. I said, I don't think it's the most talented team we've had. I do think it's the toughest team we've had, and I think they have just put in a lot of work to be where they are today.
Well, and they do have a tall order today, so let's talk about that really quickly as we know what the scouting report says then for OCU. You have to stop Alexis Shannon. We know that's there. The flip side of that is, what do you see on the other side of the court? Because, as you mentioned, there are 5 players that are going to suit up in red and white today. We know there are 5 players that bring a lot of talent to the court there in white and blue as well.
For sure. Abby Seltzer may be one of the best post players that I have seen at any level in a very long time. I have joked. My brother coaches Division I, and I tell him all the time, you should just look at her, But that kid can catch anything, and I tell our kids, anything she catches is likely going in. And so she's just a really special player. And I think the thing about Abby is, like, you watch her play, and she looks so happy. And so we always call her the big-hearted center because I feel like she just has this amount of joy that she plays with. And so, their post play is key, and then everything that they do with her to throw it back out on the perimeter, they shoot it so well. But for us, it's attack the zone, get our feet set, be ready to shoot, and not get frazzled. The one thing I just would give credit so much to Coach Overton for who they are in the first quarter. As we prepare and as we watch them, I'm just dumbfounded by their kids come out every day from the tip, and they're so prepared. And so we talked a lot about, like, handle the punch. They're going to punch early, and when the score is 8-4, that doesn't mean the game has ended because I feel like they just have this tendency to be really good early. And so, I think for us it's handle the zone. We know it's coming now. There's not a lot of surprise. This is a group, unlike some from the past for us, that when we are shooting it well, we shoot it really well. And so hopefully today's one of those days.
All right. A very tough Evangels team that's getting set to take the court right now. And my goodness, when looking at the clock, we're about 45 minutes away from tip time. So I'm going to let you go. I want to say thank you then for stopping by and visiting with us today here on Midwest Sports Saturday, presented today by the Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn. If you haven't stopped by there, you need to stop by on the way after the game. It's a good place to stop. And on part of what I've said, we talk about victory celebrations, so that may be the case for you all. The good thing for I would imagine for you all, your first meeting with OCU this year, it's on the road. So later on in the season, you're going to be back in South Oklahoma City. When
we haven't lost at home yet. So
there you go.
If all else fails, that's the backup plan.
Well, God bless you. Thank you again. I know that your run every year it has been fantastic. The last 2 years through the NCCAA, I know you'd like to shift the direction of the postseason run just a little bit, but you've been successful all the way through. So thank you so much for sitting in with me. I appreciate it. Coach Hannah Moeller from Mid-America Christian University. Her team set to take the court here in just a few moments. I believe we're going to get to have one more guest here on the program in just a moment. We may not. So that not going to happen today. Just found out this just in. There's no news on this piece of paper. It's a prop I've had in front of me pretty much the whole time. So we're going to wrap things up then from Oklahoma City. A shout-out again to the UCM Jennies for winning their 1,000th game. Do want to say thanks to the Sports Information Director here at Oklahoma City University, the Assistant Director, Athletic Director for Communications, Rich Tortorelli, as well as the Sports Information Director from Mid-America Christian University, Adam Stanek, both having sat in with me today as guests on the program. Also want to say thanks to Hannah Moeller, as well as Bo Overton, to Hank Aldis, Jim Abbott for being guests on this program. A bit of an abbreviated version of the program next week, and then we have a lot more coming your way as the month of February really kicks into gear. Also, thanks to Scott Allen and the folks at Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn. And I'll remind you of this, just because you're away from home doesn't mean that you need to go home directly after this game is over with. Stop by Raising Cane's at 23rd and Penn and feed that post-game appetite. It's Raising Cane's, 23rd and Penn, Oklahoma City. And thanks again to Scott Allen for providing and allowing for us to get to do this broadcast today. It's always a pleasure to get to visit with you all. It is always a pleasure to get to do this show, and I'm thankful for you all for watching. It is a show and a channel that is growing, but I would appreciate your help, so please do like and share this broadcast. Please do subscribe to this channel, Midwest Sports Net, and that will help us grow even that much more. All right, so I want to say thanks also to Jody McWilliams for being a part of the trip today. My lovely wife getting to come up and be with me today. I'm Joey McWilliams. This has been Midwest Sports Saturday. God bless you, and have a great day.